Hey everybody, welcome to another drive-through. Today I'm going to go through Mage Wars Forged in Fire. I just received this yesterday and went ahead and built some spell books for the Warlock and the Warlord. And so I made some different spell books and kind of used the suggested spell list that came with the expansion and then kind of tweaked from there. Just so I could kind of give you a better overview of what some of the new cards do. And I've gotten some requests to do a playthrough of Mage Wars. It is one of my favorite games. And so let's just jump right into it. And I'll kind of walk through, some of the new cards and different, ideas that are going through my head as I take the different actions. So let's jump into it. Now before I jump into the gameplay, I just wanted to kind of make a quick little component note with this box. Some of their other Spell Tome expansions have come in, not flimsy boxes, but not really meant to be kept. This is a cool little book idea with a magnetic shut there. So you can open that. It's got a nice little insert with the cards, a little bit of a story back there, some nice artwork. So this is something you may actually keep. I probably won't, but it is a little upgrade. So let's first take a look at Thru Mage. She's our Warlock. As you can see, she's focused very much on fire. So once per round at the end of the action phase, the Warlock may target an object up to 2 zones away. She may move a burn condition from that object to another object. Smoldering Curses. Enemy creatures gain Flame +1 trait if they have one or more revealed curses you control attached to them. And then finally, Demonic Reward. If a friendly demon attacks and damages an enemy creature with a burn condition, it may heal 1 damage. Each friendly demon may only trigger this ability once per round. And she's got a little bit of a melee attack here at the bottom that you have a chance to throw a burn on another character. So let's go ahead and just do a quick peek through her spell book, because I'm not going to spend too much time during the playthrough kind of discussing too much of every possibility here. So she's got quite a bit of equipment. Fire Shaper Ring that can do some burn damage, and then we've also got Walls of Fire here and some mana generation stuff. And then we have here, I had to add this creature. This is called Sardonyx, and if we take a look here, you can see 24 mana to cost. It actually costs you 8 spell points. This creature is like almost impossible to splash, and it has a variety of different attacks here. So you roll 5 dice. You can do sweeping attack to hit everybody. Non-living, legendary, and then each upkeep, though, the controller loses 2 life. Living creatures in the same zone gain the finite life trait. So this is almost a necromancer style thing, but I like it because it's it's a skeletal dragon. I've always liked that kind of thing. They've got some more of these burn focused ideas here. So the Firebrand Imp, you can see you can possibly put a burn on there. They've got Flaming Hellions, the Imp Familiar. Where's the other one here? The Wildfire Imp. It's got this piercing, it's flame -2, and then here, instead of taking a move action, Wildfire Imp may pay 1 mana to teleport to a target zone with an object with a burn condition. And then the Imp gains +2 melee while attacking an object with a burn condition. So these little guys, these flaming whelps, if you will, are going to teleport and then attack. And then we've got a bunch of other stuff here. Let's see, another Thru Mage Touch. It gives you a little bit of a bonus on burns. The Agony is going to be pretty cool. I've added a couple more of those in the Chains of Agony from the deck in the rules. And let's see, Rust, Vampirism, and then there's some Force stuff, some Explode, and Combustion. This will actually trigger off of a burn condition. So if we look at here, remove all burn conditions from the target, then Combustion makes the above attack to the target, where X is twice the number of burn conditions. So you can kind of stack those up and then boom, explode those on whatever creature you may have. Ignite, this is just add a burn condition, so that'll go nice with Combustion. And then of course we have our Fireball, and we have this Devil's Trident, which is pretty neat. Just kind of a fun one. You roll this 4 attack dice, and then you roll this and get a variety of conditions that are possible on your target. So here we've got the Warlord, and I feel like this is the mage I've been waiting for here. You can see he's trained in War and Earth, and then he has this new thing called Rune Smithing. So when an equipment comes into play attached to this mage, he may pay 1 mana to assign 1 rune to it. If this equipment would be destroyed by a spell or ability an opponent controls, prevent that destruction, unless the opponent pays 2 mana. Each rune may only be assigned once per game. Okay, so he's sort of like a blacksmith and a fighter. So he's got this sort of, magical equipment that's a little bit better. And here's his battle orders. Once per round, the Warlord must pay 1 mana and cast one of the following quick command spells. The chosen spell affects all friendly soldiers in his zone half the time it is cast, and the effect lasts until the end of the round. So take aim, quick march, and hold the line. All these add a variety of different buffs, and then you can do that and sort of buff everybody up in your zone. And then he has he's battle hardened, so he has a tough -2, and then he's got this little bit of a basic attack. All of his attacks are going to come from his equipment. So here we've got a variety of equipments, even bows and arrows, armor, rings, all kinds of cool stuff. A lot of this is Warlord only. Deflection bracers, he's going to be making good use of this. Now he's got here some of these sort of summoning, spots like a barracks, so the spawn point, and different stuff like that. The Archer's Watchtower, which is going to be annoying. And then we also have this Wall of Earth, and where is it? Oh, here it is, Altar of Domination. So if we take a look at this here, it's very interesting. It's burn proof, so it's going to work well against the Warlock. And then during the upkeep phase, if you control 3 or more outposts, place a domination token on Altar of Domination. During the deployment phase, if there are 4 or more domination tokens on the altar, you may retrieve Talos from your spellbook and summon it to this zone at no mana cost. Then destroy the altar. Well, what does that mean? Well, I'll show you in a second. But we've also got a lot of soldiers in this deck here, and a lot of spells that are going to counter off the soldiers. So he's got his little dwarven army here, and these are all dwarves and soldiers. He's also got a goblin alchemist here, which is pretty cool because you get a variety of attacks that do a variety of different conditions, so that's pretty neat. And then you got some more soldiers in here, and then here is Talos right here. So let's take a look at what Talos does. Well, you can see here he costs 28 mana points, but remember, if we get our bunch of outposts out, we can get them out for free. The other thing is he comes into play with his action marker ready, so you can come out and then just do whatever. And then Talos may only be brought into play through the Altar of Domination. It costs no spell points to include Talos in your book. So you got sort of a backup plan, if you will, sort of a secret weapon with Talos. And he's a fairly chunky guy. He's got a lot of attack that he's going to roll. So it's a pretty cool little idea there. Sort of a special summoner type of guy from another plane or something. A lot of this stuff here is going to beef up soldiers and things in your area. Flank attacks. This is going to work. So if the target's next melee attack this round attacks an enemy creature that was attacked and damaged by a friendly soldier, then it gets some buffs to its attack, so it's a flank. Defense to the creatures, got some dispels and other kind of, augmentation, sniper shot. Sniper shot's nice in there because I have the dwarf, and it's my favorite guy to use. Where is he? Crimson Deadeye. He can shoot from a good range, and then if you stack the sniper shot on there, that's also going to be very effective. And a little force push action, and then since he's earth, we've got a bunch of these rocks and stuff that he can throw, boulders and rocks to throw. So to start the game, our Warlock has the initiative. She went ahead and just used a quick action here to summon the mana crystal for 5 mana, and then her full action to summon the Wildfire Imp. So that costs her 10 mana, that puts her down to 8. And then now instead of 9 channeling, she's got 10 with the mana crystal. Now our dwarf friend here went a little bit more all out. He's going to summon a barracks, and then he's also going to get a Helm of Command here. Now the reason for the barracks is because this is an outpost, and that will help us with our Altar of Domination. This will also generate mana, more and more mana as we get more outposts out, and then we can use the mana on here to get out more soldiers quickly. So a little bit of setup happening here with both guys. The mana crystal for the Warlock, and then the outpost here, and then this Helm of Command we're going to go ahead and then we'll put over here, and we'll equip that here onto our Warlord. This lets us bind a spell or an incantation spell, and then you can actually use that over and over again as it's bound to the helmet. And I think what I'll put on the Helm of Command here is Rouse the Beast. I can pay X, which is the target creature's level that I'm targeting, and then target summoned creature, flip target creature's action mark to the active side. That creature may act as normal, so you can only cast this 1 time per round on the same creature. So moving into round 2, now the initiative is with our dwarf friend. He's going to actually go ahead and get 2 more equipment out, and this time he's actually going to put a rune on there. So he's going to put an armor +1 on the general signet ring here. So if we take a look at that, once per round this mage may pay 1 less mana when he or a spawn point he controls casts a soldier spell. So he's going to get this out, and it's also going to give him a little bit of extra armor. And then also we're going to get a weapon out here. This is the Morning Star. It's got 4 dice on the attack, but it's unavoidable. And this one we're going to go ahead and throw piercing on, so precision +1. Or piercing +1, it's called precision. And since both of those are quick actions, I can actually move and cast the second piece of equipment. So the first equipment was cast with my quick action, second one was cast with my normal action, but since it's quick I can move and act. So he's going to move over here and start waving his Morning Star threateningly to our lovely Warlock. Now our Warlock brought out 2 cards, but really only wanted to cast 1. This one costs them 3 mana. This is interesting. So at the end of this mage's action phase, they may pay 2 mana to place a burn condition on target creature. The creature must have no burn conditions and at least 1 revealed curse you control attached to it. So this will help us get out burns, hopefully. So we could say that that was used as her quick action, and now her and her imp are going to move to the south here, and we're going to go and see if we can have a little bit of conflict. Now going into the round 3, the Warlock has the initiative again, and just to do some bookkeeping here with you, I'm not really going to show you adjusting mana every round because, oh, I should have marked it to 10 actually, because, you know, I don't want to get tedious, but she now has been saving her mana to get to 25 mana, and you're going to see why here in just a second. So she's not going to ever end up using her quick action for this phase. We're going to go ahead and move the imp. Let's just have him come down here. So now he's down here coming over towards the dwarf over on that side. And then that has been the imp's activation. And now what she's going to do is she's going to go ahead and spend all of her mana here, or all of it except 1, to summon Sardonyx. And he's just a big bad creature there. So she's going to be down to 1 mana because she summoned that guy. And that's pretty much it for her turn. Now the dwarf, now seeing that, was going to rush in here and move in and try to, you know, start wailing away. But he's going to have to put up with this giant skeletal dragon, so he's going to kind of think twice about that, I think. So what he's going to do, he's actually going to equip this. This is going to cost him 2 mana, and I'm not going to show you what it is, just so that you have a little bit of surprise. But this is a enchantment, so that's going to cost him 2 mana to load up. And this barracks now should have 2 more mana on it, or 2 mana total, I'm sorry. So he's building up a little bit of extra mana there. And I think what he's going to do, he's going to go ahead and move right back over here because he wants to do a little bit more prep work as we are now threatening with, you know, Skeletal Dragon and this Wildfire Imp. So now that our dwarf has the initiative, he's currently at 17 mana. He's going to go ahead and summon here Dwarf Kriegspiel. Now this one he's going to use 2 mana off of this, so it's only going to cost him 9. And then this guy will come out into play, and he will be ready to go. And the reason I'm summoning him is because he's got a couple of different attacks. As you can see, he's got 3 armor. So don't expect him to last too long, but he may be able to absorb some hits with that extra armor there. We're going to go ahead and move these 2 folks over here. They're going to take their movement action and just hang tight. And then we're going to summon here with our Warlock. She's got a Lash of Hellfire just to kind of upgrade her weapon a little bit. Again, this is 4 attack dice, gets the burn trait. It's got reach and defrost. I mean, I did tell you that there's no flying in the dwarf deck, so the reach is going to be worthless, but this will actually upgrade its attack. So now the Warlock has the initiative. She's just going to go ahead and get this regrowth belt on her. It's cheap to get out. It gives her a regenerate 2, which will allow her to regenerate some health when she inevitably starts taking damage. And then I think we're just going to have everybody kind of move over here. So let's take a look. Yeah, we'll have this guy will move over here. I don't think he's going to move right into there because he'll just end up getting thwacked. So he'll move there, and then she'll move over here. And then we're going to use the 1 mana that was just generated from the barracks here, plus 14 from our dwarf to summon my buddy Grimson. He's going to come out here. He can take a sniper shot at somebody on the next round. And then that was his full action. And we'll see here. So he can just kind of set himself up. He could kind of hang tight here and do some protection from the of master. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and move him out here. So that way he's getting close. So it's a little bit of a threatening action. Maybe these 2 will end up doing combat. or maybe one guy will, you know, loop around over here to attack the Warlock, and then maybe he'll come around this way. So we'll have to figure out what everybody wants to do. So now that the initiative is back with the Warlord, we can see we've got 3 active creatures on this side and then 3 active on this side. So passing is now going to become important. I wasn't really too worried about it first couple of rounds because people are just kind of getting set up. So what I think is going to happen now is the dwarf is going to have this guy move in and then attack the skeletal dragon. So he's got a quick attack of 4, and there's only one, target in here, so sweeping is not really that important. So we're going to go ahead and roll 4 dice, and we're going to see if he gets any hits in. So he got just 1 hit in there, kind of blanked out. The bursts are for piercing, basically armor ignore, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't have any armor. So the dragon took 1 damage, and now he's going to be on the receiving end of something else. So now that we have 2 available creatures to 3, then now the Warlord player could pass and let the Warlock kind of do what they're going to do. So he will do that and see what happens. And I just realized I haven't been reducing the life for the Warlock, and the reason I got him out quick is I'm going to try to make this kind of a blitzkrieg fast game where she just kind of dumps everything on him and he tries to sort of stall her out. So I should have removed some life from her. Now, just as a bookkeeping note, I've taken 2 sets of damage from Sardonyx, but remember, last round I got the Regenerate too. So Sardonyx and the Regenerate are balancing each other out. So right now she's locked in at 4 damage, but unless this regrowth belt gets destroyed, then she's going to be okay. So in a lot of ways, the Warlord player could leave this guy alone, but he doesn't want to because he's going to move in. So what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and move in this way, like so, because he's not worried about this little guy over here. He's trying to get in here and stomp the Warlord. Now, since the Warlord has the initiative here, he's going to take a ranged attack with Crimson Deadeye there. So if you take a look here, this is kind of interesting because he has 6 attack dice, rolls 1 fewer attack die for each zone of range beyond 1. So in some senses, him moving in here plays into the Warlord's hands because he wants to get in there, but this is not a 0 to 3, it's a 1 to 3. So he's got to take this action to get it off. So he's going to take that, but we're going to see him actually do a double hit here. So we're going to roll a 6 dice. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 5. And so that'll put him at 6 health. That has been damaged, and he's got a total of 31 though. So he's alright. And then the dwarf, now remember he bound, rouse the beast to his thing. Now this is going to cost him 4 mana, and so he's going to activate him and attack again. So we'll go ahead and roll our dice again. Only 3 damage there. So now he's taken 9 damage out of a total of 31, but we've got another round before he gets into here. So the dwarf player is going to pass again because he's only got 1 activation marker to the Warlock's 2, and so the Warlock is just going to move the imp down here, and she's also going to move down here because she needs to stay away. She doesn't want to take any more damage beyond the damage that this Sardonyx is dealing to her. Now she can do a quick action, so if we see here, this is a range of 0 to 2, so 1, 2. She's going to go ahead and put this on it and reveal it, so that's going to cost her 3 mana. Each time this creature takes a move action, it receives a damage. So that's going to be kind of irritating for this dwarf here, unless he can get that removed there. So that's 3 mana down for her. And the dwarf here is going to cast another quick action, put it on himself. That's going to cost him another 2 mana. Because the initiative now is going to move over to the Warlock. Okay, now we're in for some fun now. She's got the initiative, so she has to go ahead and do something. They each have 3 creature markers to activate, so she's got to do something. So what she's going to do is she's going to send this guy in Sardonyx into this spot here. So he's going to come in, he's going to do an attack directly on the mage. So he's going to do his quick attack, which is 5 dice of piercing plus 2. So she's going to press the initiative here. She has gathered in her hands these ignites here. And so you can see these have a range of 2. If target does not already have a burn condition, it receives a burn condition. So she's going to tack on a burn condition for 2 mana onto the mage. So we'll go ahead and just put the burn condition on there. And just so we know what the burn condition does. Upkeep, roll 1 die. 0 equals remove burn, 1 to 2 equals take damage. So that was her quick action, and now the imp has the ability, so you can read here, let's zoom in a little bit. It says, instead of taking a move action, imp may pay 1 mana to teleport, and to target zone with an object with a burn condition on it. Wildfire imp gains +2 melee when attacking an object with a burn condition, because normally he's only got a 1 attack there. So we're going to go ahead and take his move, and his move will be there, and again, this is a quick attack, so he's going to move and jump right on the mage. Now, as a response, the dwarf is going to use his quick action. He's going to cast here Hurl Boulder, which is a quick action. It's going to cost him 8 mana, but you can see here it has a range of 0 to 2. He's going to roll 7 dice and a d12. He's going to try to chuck this boulder at the mage there and stun her. So we got 7 dice plus our little condition die. Alright, so this is probably not going to do anything. That's a 2. Nope. But holy cow, he did a lot of damage. So 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9 damage on the Warlock. So she's about at half life right now. So that was a well-timed boulder throw, that's for sure. So again, getting back to the imp, he's going to roll 3 dice. He's got piercing +1. And again, he's still got his 4 armor, so now he's currently at 3 armor against the Wildfire Imp, if I have that right. He's going to roll, so he's going to go ahead and block that one, and he's going to take 1 damage. So he's currently at 6 life consumed. So he's still doing better off, even though the Warlock is kind of really pressing the advantage right now. So the Warlock's really going to try to press her luck. She's going to go ahead and cast another Ignite. If it does not already have a burn condition, receives a burn condition, she's going to go ahead and put that onto the Crimson there. That'll cost her 2 mana. And she's going to do that and then move the heck away. So that way she can try to stay out of range. Which is smart. So just a little bit of thought process here. The dwarf here had the dissolve. Now I thought about using this as a reaction, but you can see here, this only had a range of 0 to 1. So he needed to be right adjacent to the Warlock. What he wants to resolve is this regrowth belt here, because then she's going to start taking 2 damage, and she took a lot of damage there with that boulder. So I think the dwarf's going to hold on to this for the next round and try to get himself out of this jam here and try to get close to her to dissolve that regen belt. So now the dwarf can attack. Now here, this guy can attack her, or he can try to attack this guy. Now, he can't use his awesome range attack because it doesn't work at melee range. He can roll 3 dice here, but if he goes 1, 2, 3 for each one, so he can roll 4 dice on her from there. I think he's going to do that because he really should try to push back on her. She's got kind of the board advantage a little bit right now, but he has the hit point advantage. So she's going to go ahead and do this. We're going to roll 4 dice, and this is going to go on to the Warlock. So this is going to be, that's 4 damage. That's pretty good. So she's at 17 now. And that's going to be his action. And we could use here his full action to make him go again, because he's got Rouse the Beast. So he's going to spend another 4 mana, which is a decent amount. It's going to put him at 3 mana. So he's going to go ahead and do that same attack again right onto her. Yikes. So there is 5 damage. So that'll put her at 22. And she's at 33, so she needs to get away now. She needs to stop messing around. She's kind of pinned a bunch of creatures and burns and stuff on this guy. So she needs to kind of go rest up over here, and then we'll see what happens. So this guy here is in an interesting situation, because if he moves, he is going to take a damage. But you know what? He's got 9 life. It's only 1 damage. I think what I may do... Yes. Well, this is the thing. I may have him come over and try to beat on Sardonyx, but I may also have him come and try to chase her down. So it'll become sort of a race, for example, as he kind of moves down here, but this guy can really lay the smack down. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and have him take damage, but he's going to go ahead and move over here and really kind of put the chase onto her. I think I'm going to have him go ahead and move out this way, trying to get out of dodge. Make everybody chase each other. So now we're kind of running around like chickens a little bit here. So he's going to move out here like so. So that he was able to cast that and move. And it's got a range of 0 to 2 anyway. So Okay, so now we'll go to the next round. But before we do that, we've got the burn here. We got to roll to see what happens there. Oh, so that actually gets removed. So no big deal. And Grimson, we're going to check his burn condition. Okay, he's 1. He's going to take a damage there. Okay, so the dwarf here has the initiative. What he's going to do is he is going to go ahead and cast another boulder here. So 7 dice again, 0 to 2 range. He's going to do this again as his quick action. So he's got initiative. He's got the first quick action. We're going to roll 7 dice. So we're going to go ahead and roll all these. So she's currently at 30 out of 33. She's not doing very well at all. She should have never come in here. But he had these huge boulders. So that's his initiative. I think what he's going to do here, he's going to have this guy go ahead and move. He's going to take another damage. But he's going to kind of try to box her in a little bit. So we'll go ahead and put the damage on him. Interesting. And theoretically, he can go ahead and do a sniper shot here. 1, 2, 3. And this is going to be 4 dice, like so. So there's your 3 damage there. Okay, so that was a little quicker than I expected it to go. To be fair, I usually play the Warlord, and I don't ever play the Warlock. Obviously, my friend who usually plays the Warlock beats me more than often, and so I don't know what I'm doing with this. So I think, I don't know, I mean, she got out this Sardonyx here, which was big, and she took a little bit of damage from that, but she got a regenerated belt to stop from that. I think she puts her advantage too much with trying to get the burn tokens out and the getting the imp on him. So he took a little bit of damage. This for fun. Let's say he moves in here, rolls 5 dice, 1, 3, 4, 5, with the piercing +2. He's got another one of these armor barrier things here that he cast on himself, just in case you were wondering. So he's going to roll that. So that would have piercing +2, +3. So yeah, I only done like 2 damage there, which would have put him at 8 health. He could have teleported and then rolled 3 dice here with 2 more damage, 10 health. So she kind of pushed in a little too much with her fire. I think she should have camped over here, sent in this guy. But I was really trying to exploit the burn idea, and maybe she was going to throw up here a wall of fire to protect herself. And now she'd really built up a lot of mana. But I think just those 2 huge boulders just they just drilled her in the face. And very strong, and I really enjoy using the earth magic, even with this Warlord and then the other Warlord. It does seem to me that the outpost idea is a very slow idea. I was trying to get out Talos, but that's very, very slow. I think it's probably better just to build up mana and then cast the Altar of Domination and then cast the other guy. But that's just tricky for this guy to build up mana. She was actually at almost 30 mana here at the end of the round. She probably could have cast some more creatures and something like that. So I usually like the guy that has a lot of creatures, a lot of weapons, and not so much the direct damage idea, even though that's a contradiction with the boulders. So let's just jump into the review part. I kind of apologize. I didn't mean for this to go so slow. I didn't think he would just drill the heck out of her with the boulders, though. Okay, one thing I do apologize about. I did the Rouse the Beast wrong. Now this is, you can only do that on a creature that you summoned that round, and I totally forgot that, and I should have known that. And I did that with the Crimson guy one time. I don't remember how much damage he did. I'd go back and look into editing, but that was probably a little bit different, but I think it was just a matter of another round then, possibly, where she would have died. So maybe it would have been a little closer, but if I hadn't cheated with that Rouse the Beast. But that's only a creature you summon this round. Basically, he gets like first strike, or he doesn't have any summoning sickness in the parlance of our times. Anyway, yeah, so the cool thing is I didn't really get to do too much of the runes, which is a cool, neat idea. I like the idea that this guy's also kind of a blacksmith and, a good fighter. That's pretty cool. And I like the Warlock here. She's very fire-driven. It's like a fire mage kind of idea. And that's cool. I like kind of stacking burns and then trying to, hopefully I was going to try to cast a combustion, which makes the burns explode. Or, the wildfire imps all kind of teleport to where there's fire. And again, I mean, they do such a good job with this game with the thematics of it. And, sorry for that word, but everything makes sense. And like when I look at, a wildfire imp and I look at its ability to teleport to fire and the combustion and the runes, and the, the different, the big old skeletal dragon that drains your life because you've summoned it and all that kind of stuff. Everything just makes sense. You're like, oh, okay, this does what? Okay. And I don't have to really reread except in the case of Rouse the Beast, which I was just kind of playing off memory. I should have actually read through the card again. Once you read the card, you're like, okay, all I need to do is look at the picture, look at the title, and I pretty much know what that does. And everything makes sense. It makes logical, almost like, I want to say almost scientific sense, but none of this is real. But it just makes perfectly logical sense for what you're doing. And that's really where this game, to me, goes above and beyond like just about any kind of these two-player battle games. Magic, The Gathering, Summoner Wars, there's so many of these kinds of games. This one makes the most logical, thematic sense, and it's fun. Like, I seriously can visualize a lot of the stuff that's happening on this board. So anyway, these are fun. I've got, let's see, 4 other Mage books built up, and then a bunch of other cards. I've got everything in all the different cards, and so it's a good system. If you're not familiar with the system, maybe if you watch this playthrough, it gives you some idea how it kind of works out. There is a little bit to know with some of the keywords, like defrost. I couldn't figure out what that did. I don't think I've played with defrost before, and I couldn't find that. But but again, those kinds of keywords make sense. So if you have like flame immunity, so you get flame -2, so they roll 2 less dice. When you attack you because you're already a flame guy, or if you're like a tree, you have flame +2 because like the druid has trees, and so that they're more susceptible to fire. And so once you can kind of work that out and you play a game or two of this, then you really start to pick up, and it feels, I don't know what it is. There's something great about it because you can have pets, you can have bleed conditions, all of these different conditions and things that like in a Magic kind of game, it's not really geared for like Magic or Summoner Wars or anything. It's almost like there would be too many tokens and stuff like that, and there is kind of a lot of rules to the sense where it's almost like a miniatures kind of game where you've got all these various things happening. But to me, it's much easier to deal with on the cards because you have, the rules are right there on the board. Whereas the miniatures game, you've got a bunch of miniatures and then a huge tome. This is kind of a new style of game where it is a miniatures game, but the cards make it easier to digest, quicker to play. You can play this in like an hour and a half. I don't know how long this will end up being. This is one of the shortest games I've ever played because I'm an idiot. But anyway, so there is a ton of tokens though. I should just show you here on the box. Let's see there. So yeah, there's a lot of tokens there. And that's one thing I should say. I do have like everything in the game. I even got some promo cards and stuff. I really like this game, by the way. And everything fits here in the box, but it is so full. I may just get a second box just to store something or whatever. I got to figure out a way to store this, especially with the new stuff coming at the end of the year with the different battlegrounds and stuff. All right, so I could keep talking forever and about lots of minutia with this one. So hope you got something out of it, and then let me know if I made a mistake. I'm sure since I blew Rouse the Beast, I probably made another mistake or something like that. So anyway, thanks.